Hi internet people. So this Orphan Black episode was totally Cophine filled and it was amazing. I also might get a little distracted because my dog decided he desperately needed to be involved in the filming of this video. He did watch the episode. Maybe he's also a Cophine fan. I'm not going to pick him up to show him to you, but he's down here, right here, being cute. But anyway, this episode was super about Cophine. It was so great. Okay, so we start off with Cosima working on the tooth because she's trying to figure out what's going on. She's also trying to figure out what's going on with Aisha, the girl who came in with the tumor. And while she checks on her, the girl Aisha gives her this book that has medical stuff in it, and she says they put magic water in a string here and points at her hand. So it's definitely the IV stuff that PT is using too. So that's interesting. Then while Cosima is doing she's gene sequencing some stuff, she realizes that the tooth is connected to Aisha. They both had stuff done to line 28A. It's a specific spot that deals with growth in body parts and stuff, so it can help regenerate things. Apparently Leaky was also researching it using spiny mice, the exact same kind of mouse that Rachel gave to Kira. So it's all so cool because Cosima sees Delphine come back onto the island, and then while she's doing research, she sort of falls asleep, I think, and there's a flashback to when Delphine, after Cosima tells her that she's sick, Delphine promises to protect her, and that even though they own Cosima, they don't own her humor, her everything. Cosima later mentions her humanity, so they can't have those parts for her even though they technically own her. So it's a super cute scene, and there's kissing, and then it's adorable. It's just adorable. Then when Delphine gets back, she goes CPT and winds up at some point telling him that Delphine knows about the basement, which is not good, and was there. A lot of people are there. Delphine comes back. She learns that they have Kira. They're using Kira at Dyad, and Rachel's testing on her. Rachel gets the Cosima inoculation from PT, and then Susan talks to Rachel, and everything is so, it's not okay. So, while all this is going on, the bear in the woods, whose name we're going to learn is Giannis, which I should have guessed because literally the image in the title card was Giannis. I could not hear what Mud said, but yeah. He's gotten into the village. He actually attacked a villager guard who was smoking in the woods, and you're apparently not supposed to smoke, so there's a manhunt, and Mud's being used by the head watchman guy to go find him. She's no, I don't hurt him, Then Rachel finds out about this while she's visiting with PT, and she's why don't you just kill him? And PT's no. He gets super upset, and it's weird. PT does not seem like an attached dude, which is why I'm what? He freaks out a little bit. And so that was really interesting to me. Susan tells Highr'd that she's still trying to steer the boat, even though Rachel, while with Susan, shoves her hand into her and says, I'm in charge. It's crazy. It's very intense. But Delphine and Cosima are still having cute moments together, but it's great because Delphine knows stuff that Cosima doesn't. She tells her about Kira, then Cosima freaks out because she didn't know that they had access to Kira, and that's not great. And then there's a dinner party, which I weirdly wondered if that was happening early in the episode. I was is a dinner party gonna happen? They also mentioned that PT was working on the silver. He was polishing the silverware. Also, fun fact, Susan does one of those cognitive test things on Ira, and he doesn't answer. He actually says you're doing this to change the subject because he's worried about her. So yeah, there's all of that. I'm going to go into the dinner party in a sec. I'm going to jump to Sarah and Kira. So Sarah and Mrs. S are talking about what they're going to do. We learn Mrs. S has the boys, Hell Wizard and Scott, work on this massive, Neo board, where everyone goes, who's with who, da-da-da-da-da-da. And they're trying to figure out if PT is actually PT or a dude pretending to be PT. So she's actually sending them to figure out if people have died in between birth of PT and this dude who could actually have been PT, and it's someone covering it up, which PT is creepy, so I would not put it past him to also be a hustler, because everyone wants to be a hustler. Sarah winds up telling Kira that if she will explain to her exactly what that connection is, because she knows Kira saved her on the island, then she'll tell her all the adult stuff that's going on. So they're going through this huge thing. It's actually adorable because Kira says, I'm going to be a hustler to Mrs. S, because Sarah's like teaching her like all of this stuff so that she can like pull one on Rachel. So there's like going to be code names for people, and they're going to figure this out, and they're going to get what they want from Rachel using Kira, because Kira is super smart. So that's interesting. Back at the dinner party, yeah, Delphine is invited, Cosima is not. Cosima literally tells the guy who comes to get Delphine, tell him line 28A? I think it's 28A. I may be saying that wrong, I'm sorry if I am. And then he takes her, but neither one of them is dressed for dinner, and so they have to get dressed for dinner, and all of the women's outfits are Victorian wedding dresses, and I was like, what? So they get changed, but Cosima says, frock this. She literally says, frock this, and wears a suit to dinner, like a tuxedo, and she looks amazing. She and Delphine look adorable. It's great. They go to the dinner. Cosima is super sassy the whole time. She's like pushing for questions. She corrects PT on the history of Darwin because he flubs, because there's a ton of taxidermy, and she mentions that what he's saying isn't correct. And like Delphine's face the whole time is like amused, yet like, please stop pushing, I don't want you to get hurt, which is great. And then finally, I hadn't even thought about them, but Cosima winds up talking about her parents because PT asks about them. They're apparently living on a houseboat, but she hasn't told them anything. Like, they think she's at school and totally fine. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. But she says they're in love and they love me, which is wonderful, but like they don't know anything. And she's like balancing like what she's doing right now with like how much it would hurt them to know she's sick and about all of this stuff. And it was just, oh, it was so touching. It was crazy. Then like Rachel shows up and that doesn't go great. Like, she says she's coming, she shows up, they talk a little. Cosima now knows about all of the program stuff. She finds out from Susan she finds out from Susan after apparently Giannis, the bear, breaks into the village. And he's like coming back. So like people have come to protect PT and he's gonna deal with it, he says. So they lock Susan up in her room with Ira and Cosima. She tells Cosima everything. Then she says, we need to know if the like regeneration trait that Kira has is hereditary, which means they're gonna harvest her freaking eggs and use her to make additional clones. Like, all of the babies in the 1300 subjects are going to be Kira's babies. Like, that's not okay. It's not. And Cosima is like, no, you can't do that. She's a kid. Like, you can't do that. They'll be her kids. Like, you can't have kids of a kid. Like, you cannot do that. She can't consent to that. Like, she's not okay. She leaves, and then Ira all of a sudden says, the roof was red. It was red. Only to Cosima, not to Susan. And she goes, are you glitching? And he doesn't respond, and he's totally glitching. He's freaking glitching his brains out, which is not good. Cosima goes to figure out what's going on. She sees Mud. Mud tells her not to go down there. PT has turned on a ton of loud music, which means he's got Giannis, I guess. So Cosima winds up going down to the basement. Giannis is actually in his cell, like, trying to be safe. PT is there, and Cosima tells PT she knows he's dying, which he's not doing well when he's sitting there. Then she says, like, you can't be... She also says that him being PT is not right. Like, 170 years is not true. Like, all of this. And so she doesn't think he's actually PT, I don't think. But then Giannis is in the cage, and he's hurt, and he's bleeding, and she says, all this suffering, all this pain, like, you can't do this. Like, this is terrible. But, like, she wants him to stop, and he gives her the gun. I literally thought he was going to shoot her, and I freaked out, because he has a gun. And he tells her to take care of it, like, to handle it, to make the pain stop. And then she's, like, holding the gun at Giannis, and Giannis is, like, panicking and pulling back, and she doesn't shoot him. And she tells PT that he can't take her humanity. He takes the gun and shoots Giannis while she's trying to help him. And then we don't know what happened initially because there's a commercial break, and I was losing my mind. Because Delphine has already left. She's not even there anymore. Delphine needed to go to Geneva. We actually learned, I left a thing out that was super cute. She left for Geneva after the dinner party where she and Cosima talk, and they're like talking, and she says, no, I have to go to Geneva. And she's like, what is in Geneva? Why do you need to go? Like, she's like, there's so much that you can't, like, that I don't know. Like, no one is telling her stuff. And Delphine says, Felix is there. Apparently, Felix and Adele are there doing stuff, and she needs to meet up with them to figure out what's going on. So it's literally a Lita thing. Like, it's not a Neo thing, it's Lita. And so they then talk about, she was like, remember that promise I made you? I would never hurt you, like, all of this. And they, like, flash back and forth between them kissing now and them kissing then. She was like, just, you need to believe me, like I have to go. And so like it's so sweet. And then she Cosima says PT well, I forget which one of them says it. Says that PT just tears women apart. He divides them. And after they kiss and like Cosima accepts that Delphine has to leave, Delphine says, go out there and pretend that we're divided. So they have to pretend that they're not together anymore so that PT, or like they've at least separated in some sense, so that PT doesn't know that they still are communicating with each other. So Delphine leaves before the thing, so she's not there to rescue Cosima, and so we don't know what's going on with Cosima right away. Back in Sarah, Kira, Mrs. S land, they are napping, and it's adorable. They're stacked like Russian like nesting dolls. There's a sound downstairs. Mrs. S goes down with a gun, turns on the lights. Delphine is there. Delphine says that she's headed to Geneva, that Cosima is okay, which is what she thinks at the time because she does not know about the whole Cosima downstairs with PT, because she left before that. And then she goes, can your deep throat give us information because they're going to do something with Kira? And like Mrs. S seems really hinky about the use of their deep throat in the first place, so I don't know who it is, and I'm really worried about who it could be. I'm wondering if it's Ferdinand at this point. Like I didn't think about that until now, but I feel like Ferdinand would still have connections even though Rachel kicked him out, so I don't even know. I don't want it to be Ferdinand, but I don't know. But Delphine is leaving. We then see that Cosima is locked up in the cage downstairs, like she's trapped, and according to the promos, PT doesn't want to let her out at all. But yeah, this episode, it was like great because there was so much Cophine and I loved it, but oh my gosh, there was so much, like I was afraid Cosima was gonna die 90% of the time, and then I was so worried about all the things, and I'm super upset about Kira because PT wants to screw up Kira, and I'm like, dude, no. And like Susan is fine with it, Rachel is fine with it. How is that okay? She's a little kid. You can't make babies from a little kid. You can't. It's not ethical at all. I don't care if she's property owned by Neolution. Like, it's creepy. It's not okay. So there's that. Next week, Crystal is back, and I'm friggin' pumped, even though I'm not going to be watching it live. I'm actually going out of town next weekend, so I'm 100% sure I won't be able to watch Orphan Black until I get back, but I will definitely be watching it as soon as I get home from my trip, and then I will have a recap video up probably that Tuesday. I might even live tweet it while I'm watching it by myself, just because I'm super pumped for Crystal. It's just, there's no way timing wise, even if my hotel room happens to get the channel, that I'll be able to get it. I'm actually going like out that night. I already have stuff planned that I know will overlap. Like there's zero chance that I can watch Orphan Black on time, but I will definitely watch it as soon as I can, and I will get a recap video up because Crystal, I need to talk about Crystal. Okay, that is everything. Let me know what you thought of this episode below in the comments, because this episode was amazing. I loved this episode, even though I was so tense the entire time. But let me know what you thought of the episode. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of me, please subscribe. You can find me on Twitter at CleffNotes, on my blog, cleffnotes.wordpress.com. I write for the Nerdy Girl Express, thenerdygirlexpress.com, and I run their Snapchat, the Nerdy Girl XP. Bye, internet people.